Hi everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. Thank you for watching this channel, Zani for e.com channel. Today I would like to share about one topic, one item, specifically on item related to energy management system. I would like to talk about energy variable, or in ISO 50001, it mentioned as the relevant variable. So what is that? The layman language, easy language, is that energy variable refers to factor or factors that affect energy consumption. That's the layman language. Okay, but according to ISO 50001, 2018, relevant variable is the quantifiable factor that significantly impact energy performance. Okay, and not and somehow it is routinely changed. It's routinely changed. Okay, it's different compared to the static factor. Okay, because static factor is identified factor that significantly impact energy performance but does not change routinely. Does not routinely change. Okay, but for relevant variable is the quantifiable factor that affect energy performance and routinely change. That's the difference. So why understanding this energy variable or variable is important? Before I learn further, about energy management system development, before I undergone the energy management training program under UNIDO way back in 2012, honestly, I don't know what's the variable all about, and I don't know what's the importance of that. But after I undergone that training, okay, I realized it is very, very important because it will help us, okay, especially in the monitoring our own energy performance in the energy management system. So what is this? What example of energy variable? Energy variable can be quantified. There are methods. There is a method on how you can determine what is your variable or what are your variables, because it can be one, can be more than one. What are examples of variable? It can be, for example, for a building facility. Okay, it can be occupancy rate. Okay, it can be cooling degree days. Okay, for factory, it can be your production value. Okay, it can be any other factor that you think that may you have to determine. The importance of this, to determine your energy variable is basically the first one. Okay, it will help you. Okay, the first one, it will help you to determine your energy performance indicator. Once you have confirmed your energy performance indicator or ENPI, you can establish your energy performance baseline or energy baseline. Okay, once you have these two, and then you can set your value for that, and for that baseline. And then once you have that, okay, you set your target, right, in energy management system development. And after that, you can use that, okay, your indicator and your baseline to monitor your performance after you have done some improvement of energy in your energy management system. So which part of in the energy management system this variable need to be determined? The answer very simple. It is during the energy planning process. Okay, because in the energy management system we have 6 components, right? We have the management commitment, energy policy, energy planning, operation, performance evaluation, and management review. So variable, okay, is a part of item that need to be confirmed during the energy planning under the energy review process. Because if you look back at ISO 2001, for example, energy management system, the first part of energy review is to confirm your energy sources, okay, and then understanding your past and present energy consumption, okay, and then identify your significant energy users. And next one, again, after identify the significant energy users, you have to establish or confirm your relevant variable for energy. Okay, so how to determine the variable? Okay, there is a method, and I learned, this is what I learned the method to confirm the variable is basically using the statistical method, which is the regression analysis. Okay, regression analysis. So regression analysis to me is the process, is the statistical method that to confirm, okay, it's not only used for energy, it's used for many other purposes. It basically to confirm, okay, the independent the energy consumption, okay, with other to find a correlation, basically to find a correlation between energy consumption and some parameter that being tested. Okay, so in the so therefore for you to be able to determine your variable, you like it or not, okay, you have to learn what is regression analysis. It's not difficult, okay, it's not difficult. All can be done automatically from software. And normally I use Microsoft Excel. All there. You just need to know what data to be entered and how to analyze the output of the analysis. Okay, but the requirement of regression analysis, you have to, the first one, you must have the energy data, consumption data in particular. Okay, ideally, how much data you need to have. I would normally I would suggest at least 3 years monthly energy consumption data. 3 years monthly consumption data. Okay, and then you need to then the first one, that's data requirement. First, energy data, which is you want to find what are the factor or what are the variable that somehow affect the energy consumption. So we have the energy consumption data, and then followed by we need to have the potential variable data. Okay, potential variable data. So what are these potential variable data? What are that? You know, we don't know, right? So therefore, this is where you have to use our common sense and technical knowledge. Okay, this is when we need to start to collect the data. Okay, they collect the data for us to test this potential variable data with the energy consumption, so that which one is correlated or it's not correlated. From there we can determine. Okay, so what we need to do, basically, we find the potential variable data. For example, okay, let's say you are building facility, you can start to collect the data. For example, your occupancy rate, all right, something that routinely change, not fixed. Okay, your occupancy rate, and maybe if you're a shopping complex, your visitors, you know, there's any visitors count, car counts, and all that. Okay, and then another one related to the system, you know, the cooling degree days value of the facility. Okay, anything that you think logic, you know, that you think that this is the time you have to use your knowledge and also common sense. What I suggest normally, how to get this potential variable data, you have a discussion in the management committee. You discuss with them, brainstorm. Try to figure out what are potential variable for energy for that particular facility. Okay, for industrial facility, for example, normally the first one you need to test is your, for example, production data. This normally assume, okay? Normally factory or manufacturing facility often being assumed, all right? Production is always assumed as the variable. There's nothing wrong with that. But I can tell you now, not all the cases is right. Therefore, you have to test. But however, to start with, decide when you brainstorm, when you discuss, figure out what are potentially your variable, energy variable. For example, production value, maybe you have many products, different products. Okay, you have to test one by one. Okay, and then maybe chemical being used, process, whatever. That's why you have to do the brainstorming discussion among your team member. What probably the potential variable? Okay, once you have identified that potential variable, collect the data about the same period, at least 3 years. 3 years data. Okay, 3 years data. Okay, and at the normal operating condition. Normally, try to analyze data at normal operating condition, not something like now, the COVID time, right? It's abnormal. Abnormal means that, you know, somehow the data, somehow it doesn't reflect the actual normal scenario. So try to get the data that during the normal operating condition of the facility. All right. So, and then you test. Using the regression analysis, you test the data. First, you of course, you need to know how to conduct regression analysis, right? Okay, I mentioned earlier. The first one, you test one by one, okay, the data between the energy, okay, versus the variable that potential variable that you have collected the data one by one using the single variate, okay, regression analysis, where you test one by one. Okay. Got in regression analysis, okay. For example, for one by one for regression analysis, normally the indicator using the once you conducted the regression analysis, somehow the indicator is the R square value. R square value, okay. Normally, if your output, okay, R square value above 0.75, yeah, by practice, normal practice, means that that particular variable is correlated to the strong enough. Means that there is strong correlation between that variable and the energy. So it can be taken as the variable. But it have several data, okay. You test one by one, you find the R square value is shows the highest value of R square. So mean that for R square value, all right, the higher the number, the stronger the correlation between that variable with the energy consumption. This statistic, don't ask me how to calculate R square value, or from Excel. Okay, if you have tested several potential variable, pick the one that having the highest R square value. So that can be your variable. Okay, once you get that value, that particular parameter or so-called item is your variable. Okay, once let's say you conducted the single variate regression analysis, once you get that, once you confirm that particular item is your variable, and then automatically, okay, you can establish, okay, the whatever energy you need, for example, kilowatt hour over that particular item, let's say over unit products or meter cube or something like that, right? Okay, so that can become your energy performance indicator. Okay, the ratio between kilowatt hour, for example, energy unit divided by that particular item unit, okay, that identified as a variable as your energy performance indicator. Okay, what does that mean? Means that that variable affect your consumption. Means that if your that variable increase, the consumption should be increased. Energy consumption should be increased. If that variable reduce, okay, your consumption will be increased, reduced as well. Correlated. You can test, because to explain the regression, everything, R square, everything to normal people difficult. So what I normally do, I just plot a graph, okay, I show the energy and that particular parameter. See, they can see normally the trend, is going normally is correlated. If the energy increase, that particular item also increase in that particular month. Okay, that one thing. So how you test that variable, okay, potential variable one by one until you find the one that having R square value above 0.75 normally being taken, okay, 0.5. But this R square value also depend on how precise you want to have the analysis. For energy management, the one being practiced so far above 0.75. Okay, that's one way. Okay, when you conduct the single variate regression analysis, and then for the next one, okay, for the so when you tested the parameter one by one, right, and then you find the highest R square value. But what if you test, let's say tested all these potential variable, all these parameters, but none of them giving you somehow R square value that above 0.75. Okay, so what to do next? Okay, the next step, if that happens, don't worry. This is when you need to use the multivariate regression analysis. Is that you test the energy consumption with all the potential variable at one shot using regression analysis in the Excel. Okay, all right, and then when you tested this one, the output of this regression analysis will tell you. Okay, that's why you need to understand how to read this. For example, how to read the significant F, right? How to interpret significant F, Yeah, that's why you need to know first you need to know how to conduct the multivariate regression analysis and what kind of item that you need to confirm. So you have to learn. Okay, and then the output of that is multivariate will give you that. They give you the idea which one actually are your variable. Of course, more than one. So how to interpret, for example, the significant F, in the output of the statistical analysis, okay, regression analysis. How to interpret the p-value? What are the value can be considered as valid? All right, and then you have to understand what actually what's the t-stats value, of that. This is we have something we have to learn. Honestly, I learned all this, when I start to learn about the proper energy management system development, okay, in the energy planning. Okay, I learned it myself. It's not that something that I know for a long time. I never know this application before I learned about the energy planning in the energy management system development. Okay. One, you have confirmed that from your multivariate regression analysis, and then actually, okay, from either from these two multivariate or single variate regression analysis, at the end of the day, okay, so you can establish your some kind of model. Okay, that's for if you for single variate, right? If you have that is your variable, so kilowatt hour or energy unit per over that particular item unit can become your indicator. So means that, means that the ratio, okay, can only become your indicator, any form of indicator. Let's say kilowatt hour certain item, right? Certain over that unit, okay. So the only applicable if your variable is your energy variable is only one. Okay. So because if your variable more than one, so you cannot use ratio as your energy performance indicator. You cannot use kilowatt hour over that particular item or production. If you confirm that, if you confirm that your variable is not your production, so you cannot use kilowatt hour per or your production unit as your energy performance indicator. It's meaningless. It can be misleading as well. Okay. So that's why not all cases, factory, for example, production is your energy variable. Means that doesn't mean that you produce more. Sometimes your energy also getting more. No. Okay, that's how. So that's why if your variable more than one, okay, if your variable energy variable more than one, you cannot use index as your energy performance indicator. Means that the kilowatt hour or energy unit per something is your indicator. It's wrong. Okay. So how to solve the problem? That's why again, confirming the right variable is important, because after that you can use that, okay, that output of that, okay, one variable to develop a model. Energy model. Normally very simple. If single variate, the equation is y equals to mx plus c. So the output of that, single variate regression is we give you all what's m, okay, what's x and what is c. Okay, because this model, okay, later you can use this model to do some kind of forecast of your energy consumption or estimate energy consumption, and then after that you can use that for your energy performance monitoring. Okay, even you can use to quantify your saving if you implemented any saving projects. Similar to multivariate regression analysis, you can develop a model. Why? Let's say your variable is three variable from your analysis. So your equation will be y equals to m1 x1 plus m2 x2 plus m3 x3 plus c. Okay, m the coefficient for the variable number 1. Okay, m2 is the coefficient for variable number 2. Okay, m3 is the coefficient for variable number 3 plus c is the intercept. So this become your model. So the y equals to m1 x1 plus m2 x2, okay, plus MTX3 plus C is basically your equation where you can estimate your energy consumption. Okay, that model only valid even if you single variate y equals to mx plus c, right? So this model only valid if your variable is correct. Okay, so this is very important. Okay, this can be used in further because this model can be used to first to estimate your consumption, means that how much you're supposed to use. And then you can compare that with your actual consumption. And later, subsequently, you can use that, to monitor your energy performance, even to quantify your saving. Okay, subsequently. Okay, you can use after your QSUM analysis, you can do the so-called, if you learn measurement verification, you can use it for the establishing the adjusted baseline. Okay, this is also being used in the measurement and verification. Okay, so it is important. Therefore, if you look as in Malaysia, if as a RIM, right? If you are affected, your company, installation affected by the efficient management of electrical energy regulation 2008, you will know that you have to put the variable information in the EMIS, right? In the management system, for the reporting purpose every 6 months. Okay. So actually, this is why I guess why Energy Commission require that as a part of your reporting. Because they know if you know your variable, you can easily monitor your performance. Okay, therefore, it's very important in the emissions reporting as a RIM, okay, as the installation owner to declare to Energy Commission is the right variable. Because not only for them, actually, not only for us, for Energy Commission, it's more the benefit to have the correct variable is for the installation owner. Because they can use that, can use that to monitor their own energy performance by establishing the first energy performance indicator, and then establish the energy baseline. Okay, and also to monitor your progress if you have implemented energy saving measure. Okay, this model I mentioned earlier, right? The y mx plus c, y equals to mx plus c, or y mx equals to m1 x1 plus m2 x2, okay, plus m3 x3 plus c. Actually, the can become your baseline. Okay, the baseline. Okay, that's why if your variable more than one, don't worry, you can use that model to set your energy performance indicator and so your baseline. And you can use that as well to even quantify your energy performance, your improvement later. This is something you have to learn. Okay, there's nothing technical, it's nothing engineering, it's purely statistical analysis in very, very, very useful method. Okay, especially in the energy performance evaluation. Okay, so that's basically I want to share today. Again, it's very important in energy management system development for you to identify your variable correctly. But I can guarantee you, it's not easy if you don't have the data as a start. It's always challenging. I remember at one time, I tested almost 30 over data, potential variable, before we come to the conclusion. So we work together in a team, with the personnel in the plant, collect the data. Because normally the challenge is always the data collection. Because sometimes no one knows, the kind of data never been thought of being collected. So when started to request, right, they started to question why you need to collect this data. For example, I used to request, data on rejects, data on chemical being used in the process. Okay, data of head counts. For energy, they don't see that. Okay, data of hours work and all that. Okay, so this is interesting. So again, I think that's all for this. I think my point here. Okay, confirming your energy variable or variables, because it can be more than one, is very, very important. You need to learn the technique. Then the technique normally being used basically to confirm the variable or variables is the regression analysis. It's very simple technique. Okay, it's so how you need to learn how to interpret the output. Okay, so that's a part of the item in the energy review process. So with that, I hope this sharing useful for you. Okay, why we need to confirm the correct energy variable in developing the energy management system. So that basically I can summarize here. First, when you confirm the variable, you can establish your energy performance indicator correctly. When you confirm the energy variable, okay. Secondly, you can identify, you can establish your energy baseline. After that, you can use that, to develop a model, okay, to estimate your energy consumption. Means that to estimate how much exactly you're supposed to use energy based on that variable. And then you can subsequently, you can use that, okay, to monitor, okay, your energy performance in the form of charts and calculation. And finally, you can use that even to quantify your energy performance improvement or your even energy saving for your energy saving project that's implemented in your energy management system. It's very useful and very easy to understand as well. Normally, you produce all that in the form of visual or charts. Okay, with that, thank you very much for listening. I hope we can see you again in the next video. Maybe after that, we talk about something else. Okay, so it's important. So with that, thank you very much. If you have any query, you can always email me. Okay, you can go to my website, okay, zaini4ee.com, or you can email me to info@zaini4ee.com. Okay, with that, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera.